I'm sure most of you who have been playing Dokkan for a very long time are no strangers to characters that come out and are not as good as you would hope that they would be. Sometimes characters just can be downright disgracefully bad, and there's really not much that we can do, right? Especially when a character drops right away and you know their EZA is not coming for a multitude of years, and they're just bad, and we have to sit there and wonder what went wrong, right? With some of these characters, though, it is not always that case, right? Sometimes they are pretty good when they release, but there are a few things that go wrong and a few things that people run with, and then all of a sudden you have the most memed unit and the most infamous, polarizing, all the adjectives to describe a unit that gets people talking. That release happens. Sometimes, like I said, it's a case of a bad character. You are now looking at a bad character on the screen. This is Physical Raditz. This was a character that was memed to death when it came out. It was like, this character is so bad that it's funny, where he's just not doing anything. And this was right after the 7th anniversary, which, go figure, the anniversary of the newest anniversary was the best celebration at the time. But those were characters that had just absolutely insane kits, were the pinnacle of hype for Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the LR Blue gods with Gogeta and the active skill from the Broly movie. You really just can't ask for much more. And then we have Raditz, who comes out a short month afterwards of that celebration, right? And before this, a character that went by Captain Ginyu was one of the best Dokkan Fest TURs we had seen up to date. And then Raditz comes out and he sucks. And there's just not too much to talk about. I don't want to yap about him forever. The next character I want to look at that got memed to oblivion was this Ultimate Gohan right here. Now, if you guys do not know, you could see him in the back here and he will pop up. He becomes Beast Gohan in the active skill. And I'm sure if you guys were around, people were not happy about this. That you only, Dokkan does Beast Gohan for the first time, and then you can't use him, right? Compared to, a game like Dragon Ball Legends, where Gohan comes out, he's the greatest unit in the game's history. You can play as Beast Gohan, you can do super attacks as Beast Gohan, you get voice lines as Beast Gohan, but then Dokkan does their edition of Beast Gohan, and it is only, from an active skill where you can see him actually do this. He does the Makako Sapo, but granted, credit where it's due, that animation still holds up as one of the best animations in the game, period. So I'll give them points for that, but this unit was memed into oblivion. They called this character Least Gohan, Beastless, right? And honestly, truth be told, he was underrated for a long time. I don't really think this guy was as bad as people, claimed that he was, but the case was that you couldn't be Beast Gohan, and that was inexcusable. So, now, we've now reached the unit of today's video, and we're going to go over the lifespan of, in my opinion, the most infamous unit in Dokkan history, and that is, you guys guessed it, We Saiyans Have No Limits, AGL Vegito Blue. Now, AGL Vegito Blue, this character, just out of nowhere in 2024, sort of just took the Dragon Ball community by storm. I don't know where this came from. I'm going to be honest. I kind of tried to do some research beforehand, but I think this took off on TikTok, where people just kept saying, We Saiyans Have No Limits. And because you might be wondering, what does We Saiyans Have No Limits have to do with this? In the intro animation for this character, Goku and Vegeta, and this intro animation is really bad, by the way, but Goku and Vegeta are getting ready to fight Zamasu, right? And Vegeta said, it might be Goku Black and Zamasu, I forget. Either way, from that side, Vegeta goes, We Saiyans Have No Limits. And then Goku, I think it's Goku who says, let's charge together at them at full power, right? And this has become such a meme that you guys can see in the Dokkan Worldwide campaign for the celebration the next year. People are in the chat just spamming, We Saiyans Have No Limits, right? We Saiyans Have No Limits. And it's just wild how this has taken off. And even to that point, we still have things going on with We Saiyans Have No Limit. It literally got to the point where Bandai themselves, the account for Sparking Zero, the Dragon Ball game that's got everybody excited, right? Like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is here. This video isn't about Sparking Zero, but in the announcement for 3 million copies being sold in 24 hours, it's headlined with We Saiyans Have No Limits from a Dokkan intro that's just been memed to death from this character who, wasn't what people wanted them to be. It's the same kind of idea, right? Where this character is not the greatest in the world, and we're going to talk about that today. The last thing I wanted to show, just because you can literally look this up yourselves, look up We Saiyans Have No Limits shirt. You could literally buy one of these on Redbubble or something like that, right? I'm not going to provide any links. I don't want you spending money on this, but we literally have t-shirts with We Saiyans Have No Limits on them. Like, it's so insane to me that a character can have this type of lifespan where, like, really, when they came out, they were not that bad. And I'm going to kind of talk about that today. So, long intro, not even really an intro at this point. We're getting into the lifespan and that legacy that this unit has provided with us. So, you might be wondering, right? What's the significance of this? Well, can I just zoom in here without having to, like, make a mess? I'm making a mess here on my, yeah, let's just zoom in a little bit, right? Like, 1.9 million here. Do I need to say that that's not good? This character came out in October of 2023, or August of 2023, excuse me, basically September. And this character just did not have offense that people want. And it wasn't just that, right? Like, you guys can see this was from like a 55% showcase, 1.9 million, not leaving a lot to be desired with the attack stat, considering, you know, Zamasu would take a bunch of hits, it would be at like 15 million, like turn one, right? So, you know, we have a character hitting for 2 million, and that sort of sparked this whole thing where Vegito Blue, all-out final battle, Blue Goku and Vegeta, became like a bit of a, like, just a meme, right? So, what went wrong with this character to the point where this happened? Well, it was a combination of things that I want to talk about. So, when this character dropped, it's, the big thing that stood out right away was people are not summoning for AGL, Goku, and Vegeta. They are summoning for this guy, AGL Vegito Blue. But if we go back to here, here is the issue. I'm just going to read this word for word so we all understand. Can be activated when HP is 70% or less starting from the 5th turn from the start of turn, or when there is another Future Saga category ally attacking in the same turn, or a Future Saga category enemy starting from the 7th turn from the start of turn. So, with that wording being the start of turn, that means if you get this character on turn 3, you are waiting a very long time, at least till turn 8 before you can use this, right? And that obviously is a problem. If you get this character on turn 1, you're going to have to wait at least till turn 5, turn 7, before you're going to be able to use this. And the issue with that is that the difficult content around that time did not abide by what this character wanted to do. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the content that they designed this unit around that didn't work at all. Okay, so it was the Ultimate Red Zone Dismal Future Edition. Now, you guys can see here, we have 5 different fights. And I'm not kidding when I say this, level 1 to 4 all just felt like the same fight with a different coat of paint on it. Where you guys can see, we fought Android 17 and 18. I believe this was a 2-enemy fight. Was it a 2-phase? I forget the exact specifics on this fight, but I know that we fought 2 enemies. Yeah, so it was, let's see, this is I want to say this is a 2-phaser? It might be a 3-phaser. I forget. Either way, this is a short fight. 20 million HP, not that much. And then we had a 35 million HP boss, right? And then we had Cell, who was a 1-phase fight, and also Tech. So Vegito Blue was at type disadvantage, and this fight was not going 7 turns. Either you lost before that, or you won before 7 turns. Goku Black, this was a 2-phase fight where he went base, and then he went to Rose. Again, a quick 4 to 5 turn fight, usually, just depending on how damage works out, or you just lose turn 1 because you catch a bad super. We have Zamasu, who, again, you go to this, it's another 2-phase fight where you fight Goku Black and Zamasu. And then, stage 5 here against Fusion Zamasu, it was an AoE fight. This was probably the hardest fight in the game for a decent amount of time, right? But the issue with this fight, again, not a 7-turn fight. So, and not even really like a 5-turn fight either. So, you have to keep that in mind with these characters, that they just were not designed for the content that the game was kind of pushing at the time. So, this character, when they came out, they were good. Now, let me just say that. When they came out, the only thing that people did not like about this character was the active skill condition, which the content was not designed for the active skill. They were good in the content, but they could not go to Vegito Blue, and that was the problem. And one thing that you also have to remember is this character had guard in slot 1, they had dodge chance in slot 1. So a slot 1 defensive unit just did not have the offensive capabilities that people liked. And that kind of led to an issue, right? Where you see a character, like we can just go back to the shirt, right? A character hitting for 1.9 million. This is maybe the most famous Dokkan screenshot in history at this point. I don't know. But a 1.9 million attack stat, people are going to think, did this unit come out in 2018, right? Like, that's where you got to be at. And that's what kind of led to this character being so infamous, because, again, people want Vegito Blue to be good, and that's fine. I completely agree with that sentiment, but there is this notion that kind of went around with this character when they came out that they were garbage right from the get-go, and that was just not the case. But what did happen to them, I will say, is the 9th anniversary happened. So I'll kind of take you with me here as we go over here. What happened to this character that made them just a joke, right? And the short answer here, without getting into like the big specifics and, you know, keeping you here all day, is the second red zone, or like the blue zone, happened, right? I don't know why I can't find it, but here we go. The blue zone happened, and everything kind of went downhill from here. You guys can see here we had fights against like Blue Goku and stuff like that, and we had some of these difficult fights. If we go right here, we'll go to the Gogeta fight. 840,000 supers right away, 1.5 million supers right away, 1.9, 2.7. So even in long fights, when you could finally get Vegito Blue out, characters were hitting for 2.7 million, right? And so what happened here with the 9th anniversary, and this is kind of like what led to this happening, right? The 9th anniversary was a very aggressive power creep jump that led to a lot of units sort of becoming obsolete, right? This character right here, Vegito Blue, they were not the only victims of this, right? Almost anything that had released like pre-9th anniversary, with a few exceptions in between, basically just became unrunnable. And combining that with the fact that people already wanted a reason to not like this unit, and sort of, you know, look through the lens of the 9th anniversary, where they just can't do anything in the content anymore because, you know, these attack stats are jumping up to like the 10 million range turn 1, and we're just doing these ludicrous, ridiculous things, and on the teams they're on, they're being pushed off of, and Future Saga becomes unusable, Battle of Fate essentially becomes unusable because of the leaders that aren't there, and you just have a recipe for disaster for a character like this. But, you know, things happen. This is sort of just the way that things go with this game. The beauty of the 7th anniversary leading into the 8th anniversary is the power creep was nowhere near as aggressive, right? A lot of characters that came out towards the end of 2022 kind of survived into like the midway point of 2023 with like the Sin Shenron fight and stuff like that. Omega Shenron fight was a little bit difficult, but you could still use characters that came out. But this was definitely not the case with the 9th anniversary power creep, where all of a sudden these characters just became way, way, way stronger, and units became way stronger. And then with the worldwide download celebration being this year, with like more blue zone, more fights like that, it just led to a lot of fights that are literally doing like 500 to 600k on normals, just starting right off the bat. And that led to the Sayans having no limits, certainly having some limits. And that's where this whole thing comes from, right? The lifespan of this character. I thought it would be something kind of interesting just to break down how this happened and sort of like the after effects of it that just really make me laugh. Just again, them being on a t-shirt, I think is like the perfect way to end this video. But let me know down below, what do you guys think of this character? Do Sayans have limits? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me, like I said, just all those fun things. Personally, like I said, I think this unit was a little bit underrated going into that 9th anniversary, but after the 9th anniversary happened, it was just GG for this character. So with that being said, like I said, let me know down below what you guys think of this character. If you did enjoy today's video and you want more kind of close looks at characters in the game, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know which ones you want me to talk about. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one.